Discover the incredible moment a targeted black girl's hidden martial arts skills changed everything. 13-year-old Maya Johnson stood in the middle of the school hallway, heart racing as she watched the scene unfold before her. A group of bullies loomed over Sam, a quiet kid who always kept to himself. Laughter echoed off the lockers as they shoved him, their jeers striking like daggers. Everyone around her watched, caught in the grip of fear and indifference. Unseen by most, Maya's fists clenched, but her hidden talents, forged from the relentless training with her grandfather, felt like a burden now too heavy to lift. In her richly woven neighborhood, sacrifices were a currency her family knew all too well. Her mother, Karen, a dedicated single parent, worked tirelessly in 2 jobs, instilling in Maya the courage to stand tall. As Maya thought of her mother's struggles, a glow of hope flickered within her. She felt the weight of unspoken dreams from her friends, the weight of her community. It thrilled and terrified her, every heartbeat counting down the seconds to a decisive moment. A wave of subtle regret washed over her when she realized her instincts urged her to intervene. But the specter of isolation loomed nearby, careful to silence her. Just last week, when she had defended another classmate, whispers of show-off had chased her down the hall like shadows, gnawing at her courage. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But then, a memory surged back. Her grandfather, a war hero, recounting his stories of a different battle, one that fought not only against an outside enemy, but against the challenges society thrust upon him and his family. His voice whispered the words courage and dignity, lighting a fire inside her soul. She could be more. She could be the voice for the voiceless, for Sam, and for everyone who suffered in silence under the weight of bullying. With determination coursing through her veins, she made her way forward, step by cautious step, until she reached the confrontation. "Leave him alone," she shouted, her voice echoing against the stark walls. Those contemptuous faces turned toward her, surprise mingled with mockery reflected in their eyes. Determined, she faced them. But in that moment, her stomach dropped and her words faltered. Igniting a spark within herself seemed impossible as uncertainty gripped her heart. Then she sensed it, the soft squeeze of her mother's hand squeezing her shoulder, standing outside the fray, pride battling against worry. It was all the encouragement she needed. Taking a deep breath, Maya stepped apart from her doubts and unleashed the movements her grandfather taught her. She twisted into her stance, launching into a flurry of unexpected confidence. Gasps filled the air as she showcased her martial arts skills, surprising the bullies and herself. But the crowd's reactions remained mixed. Some cheered. Others stood nervous. Can she really shape the perception of young women like her? A whisper floated through the tensions, uncertain yet curious. As her heart raced amid the cheers and gasps, the air thickened with the pulse of her community. Could this moment shift their perception forever? As Maya locked eyes with her adversaries, the silence faded to a tense anticipation, leaving readers poised on the edge of their seats, eager to discover if one brave act could change everything. Maya's heart thundered in her chest, a relentless drumbeat of adrenaline and fear. Every eye in the hallway was glued to her, and for a moment, everything felt suspended. Time itself halted as if waiting for her next move. She could see the surprise on the bullies' faces, astonished by her unexpected display. But beneath that bravado, a knot of worry twisted in her stomach. What if they retaliated? Doubts creeped in like shadows, whispering that she might have made a grave mistake. But as she held her ground, an unexpected wave of resolve began to wash over her. The shouts of approval from her classmates grew louder, drowning out the whispers of doubt. Suddenly, she wasn't just defending Sam. She was standing up for every kid who had ever felt small, every name whispered behind closed doors. Encouraged by the energy around her, she twisted again, executing a roundhouse kick that landed with a satisfying thud against the air, inching her confidence higher. The biggest bully, Derek, took a step back, glancing at his crew. His bravado began to wane as he reevaluated the girl standing before him. Maya could see in his eyes the flicker of uncertainty, the fear in the face of someone who didn't back down. For a moment, just a moment, it was like the world reopened. Standing tall, Maya felt an unexpected clarity. She was unstoppable. "Is that all you've got?" she challenged, her voice bursting with newfound strength. The taunt hung in the air like a dare. Sam, who had been cowering against the lockers, looked up, hope and disbelief merging in his eyes. Derek exchanged confused glances with his friends before they erupted in nervous laughter. But Maya sensed the shift. This wasn't fun for them anymore. The crowd's collective breath seemed to catch. Maya took a step closer to Sam, ready to shield him should they pounce. "You're stronger than this," she murmured just for him. "Don't let them win." He blinked, a flicker of admiration creeping over his face as if he were waking from a nightmare. The tension between Maya and the bullies crackled, her heart now a match poised above kindling. Would it ignite change or would it fizzle out in fear? Suddenly Derek charged forward, his fists clenched, the crowd gasping in unison. Maya's training kicked in as if on instinct. She sidestepped, narrowly avoiding his grasp. His momentum sent him crashing into a row of lockers, a loud clang reverberating through the hallway. Gasps turned into a chorus of excitement and disbelief. "What just happened?" someone whispered. The thrill in the air was palpable, the kind that pulsed in Maya's veins and made her feel alive. Derek stumbled back, his bravado shattered. Maya's stance remained firm, unmistakable power radiating from her. The murmurings of the crowd grew louder, not just for the thrill of what they witnessed but for something deeper. They began to see her strength, her courage. She was no longer just the quiet girl in the background, but a fighter, a force to be reckoned with. But amid the cheers, Maya noticed Sam still hesitating, uncertainty clouding his face. Would he join her? Would he find his strength too? As the crowd rallied, it dawned on her that in order to change the narrative, they had to rise together. A sudden shout broke through the din. "All right, let us see if you're not just a lucky girl." It came from one of Derek's friends, but this time, the sharpness of the words didn't sting nearly as much. They felt different, tinged with a hesitance that buoyed Maya's spirits. Every fiber of Maya's being screamed to respond, to fight back not just for herself but for Sam, for the others who felt lost. As adrenaline surged, she turned back to the crowd, feeling the warmth of their support. But this was just the beginning. What did it mean to stand up not only against the bullies but to embrace those who needed courage themselves? What awaited her next? Maya's eyes searched the crowd, and she felt the breath of the moment rushing against her. Could she empower Sam and others to join her to rise as one? With a deep breath, she opened her mouth, ready to change everything once and for all. What would she say? "Listen up." Maya's voice rang out clear and strong, cutting through the noise of the crowd. She felt a warmth spread through her. They were listening, they were waiting. Every nervous first year, every quiet girl who knew the sting of whispered insults, and the boys who had too often been forced to choose sides, they were all looking at her, hoping, needing something to change. Everyone deserves to feel safe. No one should be scared in their own school. She took a step forward, heart racing, maintaining eye contact with the crowd. Those familiar faces seemed to nod tentatively at first, but with increasing confidence. Sam stood beside her, still hesitant but less afraid. That flicker of strength in his eyes was all she needed. "I felt the loneliness," she continued, voice trembling slightly now, both with fear and determination. "I know how it feels when you're the one who's targeted. When you're the one being bullied, it can feel like you're invisible." A few murmurs echoed back. "Yes," someone yelled. "So let us make ourselves visible," she proclaimed, the words igniting a fire in the room. "Let us stand together. If I can do this," she pointed to the battered lockers and then back to herself, "so can you." With each declaration, hearts around her seemed to lift like kites in the wind, caught in the rising enthusiasm. She could feel it, hope threading through the crowd like a lifeline. Sam's eyes widened, and she took a cautious step toward him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "I know you feel this too, Sam. You can stand with us." For just 1 second, he hesitated, that flicker of self-doubt still visible. But then he took a deep breath, recalling Maya's earlier words, and she could see it in his posture, the shift from doubt to determination. Derek had retreated to the edge of the crowd, glaring but now unsure of what to do. The energy had shifted in the hall. "Join us!" Maya shouted, looking around at her classmates. "No one gets left behind anymore. We're not going to be silent. We're not going to hide. Every single person here matters. And together we are stronger." The applause erupted like fireworks, loud and jubilant, echoing off the lockers and rattling the walls. Someone shouted, "Maya! Maya!" And it felt like empowerment, a surge of collective energy. She pointed to Derek, whose bluster was beginning to falter. "You think we're weak? Think again. We're standing together now, and we're not afraid of you anymore." Something shifted in the atmosphere. The confidence in her voice shattered the silence that had hung like a thick curtain. It wasn't just about fighting back. It was about claiming their space, about belonging. The group began to move as a unified force, stepping closer to Derek, who now shifted uncomfortably. Maya felt an energy from Sam as he matched her movement, standing shoulder to shoulder with her. Suddenly he wasn't just a kid backed against a locker. He was her ally. "Are you with us?" Maya called, surveying the crowd, daring them to join her. A unified cheer echoed back, the sound soaring. But amid the exhilaration and unity, doubt still lurked. What if this moment of bravery faded? What if the bullies regrouped tomorrow? Maya's mind swirled with possibilities. As she looked at the faces of her classmates, she realized something crucial. Confidence wouldn't just happen. They had to build it every day, every moment. It was a journey, not just a stand. "Let us meet after school," she shouted, an idea sparking. "Let us train together. Fight back with skills, words, and strength. Let us become a community." The idea was catching fire, with every clap and cheer echoing her resolve. Suddenly, Maya was not just a fighter in defense. She was a leader in revolution, inspiring movement. But just as the cheers erupted again, a figure emerged from the shadows, a teacher standing by, arms folded, a stern expression on their face. The tension in the air morphed into something different. Would they be supportive, or would this moment break apart as quickly as it had come together? Maya held her breath and the cheers faded. Momentarily, what would happen next? Would her newfound confidence be met with support or resistance? Maya could feel the room shrink around her as the teacher stepped forward, the sense of unity hanging in the air like a fragile thread. She hated that her heart raced again, feeling that surge of anxiety creep back in. She had just summoned up courage. The applause had felt like freedom, and now the weight of authority loomed overhead. "Quiet," the teacher commanded, and the cheer that had filled the hall dissipated. The faces that had beamed with hope turned toward the teacher, uncertainty replacing the exhilaration that had just ignited the atmosphere. "But we were enough." The teacher's voice clipped through the air. There was no room for interruptions. "This is not the time or place for whatever this is." Maya's stomach twisted. Was this it? Would everything they had built in those few moments just shatter? She glanced at Sam, whose face mirrored her own worry. But then something in her shifted. She thought of all the kids who had felt alone, those who were still suffering. She couldn't let that happen after all they had just begun. Rallying her thoughts, Maya stepped forward. "We're just trying to make this school a safer place for everyone," she pleaded, her voice breaking slightly. "We affected change, and it matters. Shouldn't we be encouraged to stand up for ourselves?" The teacher frowned, clearly taken aback by her defiance. Maya kept her eyes locked on the teacher, willing herself not to look away. Around her she saw nods from her classmates, echoing the sentiment she felt growing inside of her. Finally the teacher relented, though the sternness didn't completely fade. "I understand that you're feeling passionate, but remember, there are rules in this school. If you want to have these meetings, you need my permission and need to ensure that they're conducted properly." Maya's heart lifted just enough that hope sparked. "We can do that," she said, her voice steadier. "We'll respect the rules. We just want to make sure everyone feels safe." The teacher studied her a long moment that seemed to stretch painfully. Then with a reluctant nod, they spoke again, slower this time. "Fine. You can organize a meeting. But I want to be there, and I expect you to keep it constructive. No more shouting, no violence." Relief washed over the crowd and scattered cheers returned, punctuated by light laughter breaking the tension. Maya smiled, nudging Sam, who gave her a supportive grin. As the murmurs of approval rippled through the students, Maya tapped her fingers against her knee, her mind shifting fast. Let us meet in the gym right after school. Everyone can practice and share ideas. We'll train together and build the confidence we need. We'll get back to our roots and remind each other of our worth. She could see the energy build again. Everyone buzzing with a newfound purpose. This was it, the spark had become a flame. As students began discussing what skills they could share, Maya felt a rush of excitement. But in the back of her mind, the questions wouldn't stop. What if the bullies didn't just retreat? What if they saw this as a direct challenge? What if the teacher's support had conditions she didn't yet understand? No. Maya shook her head, dispelling fear like a cloud. She wouldn't let doubt win this time. They were creating something bigger than just a stand, they were creating a family. Let us make a plan. We'll meet every week, and soon everyone will know that standing together we're unstoppable. Cheers erupted once again, but an uneasiness settled around her like a shadow. Could they really achieve this? As the crowd began to disperse, Maya caught sight of Derek lurking at the edge, his expression unreadable. Something inside her tightened. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. But as the last of the crowd trickled out, another realization struck Maya. If a community was built on strength, then secrets lurked in the shadows, waiting. She would need to confront more than just Derek. What if she discovered something about her own strengths and weaknesses? What if that made her the key to their survival? The journey was just beginning, and Maya could already feel the weight of it. Would she be ready for the storm that was coming? The gym buzzed with restless energy as students filled the space after school, their chatter blending into a symphony of anticipation. Maya scanned the crowd, her heart a steady drum in her chest. This was real. She could feel the thrill of something important about to happen, something that could change everything. Sam breezed through the door, waving energetically. Hey, are you ready for this? I brought my boxing gloves. Maya grinned, just as a few more familiar faces trickled in. But in the back of her mind, the looming uncertainty of Derek's presence still hung like an unwelcome fog. If he was to be a problem, if he chose to push back against them now, would they be ready? All right. Maya clapped her hands to gather everyone's attention. Thank you all for coming. Means so much that you're here. Today we start building our community. The students gathered closer, leaning in just a little, eyes sparkling with hope. We're not just here to keep our heads down. We're here to support each other, learn from each other, and get stronger together. A few students nodded in agreement, murmuring encouragement. Maya felt the energy shift. It was electric. First things first, I want to know what skills you all have. What can we share? Hands shot up across the room. I can do some basic self-defense moves. One boy shouted. I've done gymnastics, balance and flexibility. Another chimed in. As they shared a variety of talents, from dance to art, the atmosphere grew warmer, more connected. Each skill was a thread, weaving their own unique strengths into a vibrant tapestry. Maya's heart swelled with pride as the smiles multiplied. Great. We'll rotate and practice these each week, she suggested, her voice rising with enthusiasm. And I want to share something with you too. She took a deep breath. I've trained in martial arts for several years. I never thought it would be something I'd want to share publicly, but maybe it's time. Shocked silence fell over the group. Then whispers erupted. Seriously? You can teach us martial arts? Maya nodded. Yes. It's really about being confident and knowing you can protect yourself, and I want to empower each of you in that way. The energy in the room shifted again this time. It was a roaring fire, growing brighter and hotter. Maya felt supported, her shoulders relaxing as she began to lead them through basic stances and movements. Laughter filled the air as her peers attempted to mimic her, stumbling and giggling along the way. Just as the atmosphere transformed into one of genuine enthusiasm, the gym doors swung open with a loud clang. Derek walked in, flanked by his crew, an unsettling smirk plastered on his face. The laughter dwindled, replaced by an uneasy tension as all eyes shifted to him. What's this? Derek drawled, the challenge in his tone palpable. A self-defense class? You really think that's gonna help you? Maya's heart raced again, fear spilling into her gut like ice water. But then she remembered why they were all here. This was about empowerment, not just for her, but for everyone around her. Actually, yes, we do. Maya shot back, surprising even herself. We're creating a family here, and you can't break that. Family? He sneered. You can't be serious. You think a bunch of losers can take me on? His words hung in the air, cruel and taunting, but a surge of determination welled up in Maya. We're not backing down from you. You'll see how strong we are when we stand together. Derek raised an eyebrow, but behind that bravado, doubt flickered in his eyes. Maya could feel the crowd behind her, the warmth of support radiating in waves. They were more than a team now, they were something stronger. As the confrontation simmered, Maya's mind raced with possibilities. Could they truly unite against the darkness Derek represented? And what would it cost them to fight back fully? The storm was brewing, and Maya could feel it. This battle was far from over. But with a sense of purpose growing in her heart, she knew they had each other to lean on. What if their strength together was deeper than anything she could have imagined? The moment was pivotal, a turning point, set against a backdrop of uncertainty. Would they stand firm, or would fear fracture their new bond? Derek's laughter echoed in the gym, and it hit Maya like a punch to the gut. The rest of the kids stood there, some uncertain, others clearly intimidated by his presence. But as she looked around, she saw something she hadn't noticed before. The glimmers of resolve in their eyes. They were scared but willing to fight any shadow that came between them. Why are you so scared? Derek continued, swaggering closer. You think playing dress-up in martial arts is going to protect you? You'll get crushed. Maybe it's not about being crushed, Maya replied, her voice steady even as her heart raced. It's about standing tall when it counts. Shocked silence fell again, breaking only from the sounds of the basketball court echoing behind them. Slowly, a girl from the back stepped forward, her voice clear. If Maya believes we can do this, then I believe it too. We won't just stand by. We'll stand together. A ripple of agreement spread through the group, each one nodding, the resolve strengthening like steel in their veins. Maya turned to see Sam, his boxing gloves already laced up, stepping next to her. Yeah, Derek. You don't scare us. You're just a bully hiding behind your loud mouth. The gym seemed to explode with excitement, faces lighting up, a storm of rejuvenated spirits flooding into the space. Maya felt the energy shift again, with a force that felt unbreakable. It wasn't just her against Derek anymore. It was all of them. But you're still nothing, Derek shot back, his earlier bravado slightly wavering. You really think this will change anything? What if it does? Maya dared to ask, stepping even closer to him, her body radiating confidence. What if we become stronger than you think? We'll learn from each other, and you can't break that bond. For a fraction of a second, Derek hesitated. She saw that flicker of doubt again, just beneath his arrogance. It was comforting in a way. With the backing of her friends, Maya felt like she could charge forward without fear. Let us show him what we can do, Sam shouted, energized by the moment as he threw a punch in the air, laughter overtaking some of the tension. Derek laughed again, but this time it didn't sound as menacing. It felt more like a desperate measure. You think this is a joke? He scoffed. No, Maya replied firmly. It's about proving you're wrong. Laughter erupted again, and this time it was infused with strength. Maya turned back to their group, now fully united. Let us practice what we've started. Everyone grab a partner. This is about feeling safe, strong, and unstoppable. They partnered up, the energy bouncing between them, smiles surfacing where uncertainty had once reigned. She led them through movements she had mastered, breaking down the steps and empowering each student as they embraced the exercises. Yet through the laughter and movements, Derek hung by the door, arms crossed and watching. Are you going to keep standing there? Maya called out, challenging him in a way that surprised even her. Or are you going to show us what you've got? Me? Fight you? He waved his hand dismissively but paused, his attitude shifting. I don't have time for this. You're all wasting your time. Look who's scared now. Sam shouted and cheers erupted from everyone, their collective voices overpowering Derek's cynicism. Maya felt a simmering strength building inside her. They were all coming together, and the fear that once held her back started to slip away. She could feel something monumental shifting. It felt like the world as they knew it was changing brick by brick. As the laughter and cheers filled the gym, Maya dared to imagine a future beyond this moment. A future where they turned their weaknesses into fortresses. But just as they began to train seriously, the gym doors swung open again. This time it wasn't just Derek. A couple of his friends followed behind, their expressions darkening the mood once more. Are we just going to let this happen? One of them sneered. Maya took a deep breath, her heart pounding. The battle was just beginning, and they couldn't back down now. Yet fears bubbled beneath the surface. Were they truly ready for what came next? The stakes were rising, and the air hung heavy with anticipation. Did they have it in them to not only face Derek but also everything he represented? Maya's heart raced as she stared down the newcomers. Each face reflected a different shade of Derek's arrogance. They moved forward as if they owned the space, casting shadows over the energy that had filled the room. Look at this pathetic group. Derek's friend chuckled, stepping up beside him. You think you can take us on? This isn't a place for losers like you. Maya felt the words like ice on her skin, but she remembered the fire ignited in her team, the strength pooling in their hearts. Listen to me, she said, walking toward them, defiance fueling every step. We aren't here to fight you because we hate you. We're here because we believe in ourselves. Derek rolled his eyes, clearly annoyed. And what does believing in yourself get you if you can't back it up? Just empty words, Maya. Maybe. Maya let the word hang between them, challenging them to dismiss her. But sometimes those empty words are what keep us going when everything else is trying to bring us down. A murmur passed through the group. They were watching her closely, and she could see the flicker of hope in their expressions. They were ready. Sam stepped forward. You want to throw words? We've got actions. Train us, Maya. Let us show them. Maya nodded. Bringing them together, she thought about how she could translate their collective determination into effective techniques. Let us work on our stances. Everyone find your base. She moved to the center of the room, demonstrating a defensive stance, a calm rising wave amid the uproar of tension. She taught them to keep their feet solidly on the ground, their bodies centered, as if they were trees rooted deep. Remember, it's not about being the strongest. It's about knowing how to stand your ground. As they practiced, soft grunts filled the gym mixed with shared laughter, pushing away Derek's insecurity. Maya's confidence seemed to grow stronger with every movement she led. They kicked, they punched, they fell and picked each other up. And all the while Derek watched, arms still crossed but with a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. His friends had started looking a bit more anxious too, glancing at each other, unsure if they really wanted to confront this wave of newfound strength. Just then one of the girls, Tanya, fell back, hitting the floor with a thud. Concern shot through the group like a wildfire. Are you okay? They all chimed in unison, rushing towards her. Yeah, she said, pulling herself upright with a laugh. Just testing gravity. Guess it's stronger than I thought. Their laughter rang out again, erasing the seriousness of the moment. Maya couldn't help but smile. But not everyone was laughing. Derek's face was a storm cloud. This is such a waste of time. He yelled, no longer attempting to hide his frustration. You think practicing silly moves is going to make a difference? Maya turned to the group, eyes blazing. What do you think? Yeah. Sam shouted. We're not backing down. We're going to be strong together. The atmosphere in the gym shifted as they rallied, raising their voices, refusing to let Derek's negativity suffocate their spirits. And then Maya made a decision that would tip the scales. Let us invite them in. Derek, if you think this is so pointless, why not show us a thing or two? Or are you just scared to face us? The gym was silent. Derek's friend instantly scoffed. You don't really want that. You'll regret it. Who's afraid now? Maya challenged, feeling charge sizzle through her veins. The moment hung with expectation, each breath measured with hope and uncertainty. She knew the risk but also felt the potential for something greater. Would Derek take the bait? Would he challenge this newly forged unity? The air was thick with anticipation. They all waited, eyes glued to him. And in that silence it became clear. The battle was bigger than just fists. It was about standing up for each other when it mattered most. What would Derek choose? In that moment, everything hinged on what would come next. Would this be the moment that defined their journey? Derek shifted his weight from one foot to the other, the tension crackling like static electricity around him. His face was stormy, veins visibly tense. The eyes of everyone in the gym were burning into him, a collective gaze that could both challenge and intimidate. Maya held her breath, every heartbeat drumming a plea for courage. Finally, Derek stepped forward, shoving his friend aside with a wave of his hand. Fine. If you want a show, let us give these losers a reason to give up. There was a flash of something, perhaps recklessness or bravado, behind his cold demeanor. The audience gasped, a ripple of surprise blending with a rush of anticipation. Really? You're going to teach us? Maya asked, feigning disbelief, a small smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. How generous of you, Derek. He glared at her but couldn't conceal the tremor in his jaw. Just watch, he spat, turning on his heel and walking to the center of the gym, where a makeshift mat lay waiting for them. The smirk faded as Maya felt a rush of determination. She could sense the anticipation building in her team, an undeniable thrill that surged like a wave. They were ready to rise, to show their strength despite their doubts, maybe even in defiance of Derek. As Derek demonstrated basic moves, showcasing his confidence and supposed strength, the energy in the gym shifted once more. His friends circled him, cheering him on with hollers and jeers directed at Maya's group. But what struck Maya was how many of her team began to whisper amongst themselves, sharing shaky aspirations of rising up against what once felt insurmountable. You guys, Maya called out, her voice piercing through the echo of Derek's bravado. Don't let him intimidate you. Remember why we're here. She felt inspiration flood her veins, and she motioned for Tanya to join her. We need to show him how much we've grown. Come on. With heartfelt encouragement, she took Tanya's hand. Together they moved to the center of the gym. Derek's brow furrowed as he watched them approach, his bravado faltering just a hint. You think you can take me on? He sneered, but there was a tremor of uncertainty beneath his bravado. Yes, Maya shouted, feeling fire ignite in her chest. The two of us. Let us show you what it means to stand together. The others in her group erupted into cheers, their voices merging into a steady rhythm of support. It filled Maya with a sense of belonging she had craved and urged her on. In that moment, as she faced Derek with Tanya by her side, Maya drew on every lesson she had learned not only in martial arts but in life. This fight was about more than strength. It was about connection, resilience, and the collective will to rise. Derek squared his shoulders and assumed what he thought was an intimidating stance, smirking as he prepared for the inevitable. He might think he had the upper hand, but as Maya launched herself toward him, feet flying and heart racing, she felt a surge of collective strength within her. With just one move, she sent him sprawling to the mat. Shock rang through the gym, electrifying the air. Derek sat there momentarily stunned, as the laughter and cheers roared around him. Maya had shown them that it was possible to defy the odds. That's just the start, Tanya smiled, as she pulled Maya back to their team. They were no longer just individuals, they were a force. Derek lay there, dawning realization washing over his features. In that moment, victory was tangible. Yet Maya sensed another storm brewing. This was their first confrontation, but their journey was far from over. As Derek pushed himself back up, eyes burning with rage, she knew they had drawn first blood, but the battle was only beginning. What would happen when Derek unleashed his true fury? Would they be strong enough to face the chaos ahead? Derek sprang to his feet, his expression twisted in anger. The cheers of Maya's team washed over him, but all he could hear was the heavy thud of his heart. She took him by surprise, but now he was fueled by a wild fury, a fierce need to show them they had made a mistake. Alright, you think this is a joke? He growled, licking his lips like a predator ready to pounce. Let us see if you can keep up. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. The energy in the gym shifted again, a tide turning. Derek's friends, sensing the battle heat up, began to cheer louder. Their voices bellowed in support, and it surged over the room like a war cry, echoing against the tiled walls. Her team exchanged nervous glances, but Maya held her ground, glancing sideways at Tanya. There was fear there but also fire. We can do this, she whispered fiercely. We just have to stick together. Derek lunged at her, an explosive movement that sent shockwaves through the gym. Maya dodged to the side, her instincts kicking in. The moves she had practiced hundreds of times in front of her mirror were suddenly crucial. Heart racing, she crouched low, feeling adrenaline rush through her veins, sharp and electric. Oh, nice move, Tanya called out, but Maya was too focused to even respond. With every feint and retreat, Derek began to lose control. Each time he missed her, the crowd's energy shifted, cheers turning to stunned murmurs. Protecting her teammates was her mission. It sent fire coursing through her. She ducked and weaved, letting his rage fuel her own determination. In her mind she replayed all those moments, all the sweat, the late-night practices, her relentless drive to prove that she belonged. And now there it was, all of it coalescing into this very moment. The crowd surged with her, each shout building her resolve. We're stronger together. Together. Derek's face, red with frustration, twisted again as he grappled for control. Maya felt his desperation. Maybe this was more than just a fight. Maybe it was a chance to teach him something. She stepped back and drew on the energy of her friends who now shouted for her. Step it up, Derek. She challenged, a hint of playfulness in her tone. You gotta do better than that. The taunts fell from her lips, light and airy yet underscored with grit. And it worked. He charged again, but this time Maya was ready. With a swift sidestep, she caught his arm, redirecting his momentum and using it against him. He stumbled past her, his own weight betraying him. Cheers erupted, a roar that vibrated the floor beneath them. Derek slammed against the wall, and for a heartbeat, silence filled the space as he processed the new reality. Maya saw it, the flicker of uncertainty, and for the first time, she didn't feel fear at the edge of his eyes. But as he turned back around, wiping the sweat off his brow, something in his glare shifted. A flash of something darker bubbled beneath the surface, and she felt her heart drop. This was no longer just about her. It was about overcoming an enemy who wouldn't back down. What are you waiting for? He spat, anger radiating from him. You'll regret this. Maya stepped back, gauging her next move, the adrenaline racing through her. But the moment between them seemed alive, electric. Derek loomed over her, a storm ready to unleash itself. As the audience held their breath, drawn into the clash of wills, Maya wondered whether courage alone would be enough to withstand what was to come. Would they be able to bring Derek down again? Or was this the moment where everything spiraled out of control? She knew she had to be ready, because now the fight was not just physical. It was a battle for their spirits, their dignity. And as she stood her ground, steel in her eyes, she realized that they were on the brink of something much greater than a fight. But would they emerge victorious? Or was Derek's fury about to consume them all? The gym pulsed with anticipation, every soul holding their breath as Derek squared his jaw, eyes like dark steel. He had taken blows, but he was far from finished. Maya could feel the energy of her classmates behind her. It was like a roaring ocean, ready to swell if they surged together. Regret this? Derek snorted, his tone dripping with disdain. You don't know what you've just stepped into. Maya's courage surged at his threat. What's it going to take to make you stop? We're done being scared of you, Derek. Her voice broke through the tension, and with it came the realization that this battle wasn't only about physical strength, but also about reclaiming their voices, their identities. With a fierce roar that echoed through the gym, Derek lunged again. This time Maya was ready. She sidestepped, whirling her arm like a windmill, driving him off balance. But it wasn't just her, the others were there too, echoing her strength and their unity. Stay together. Stay strong. She shouted. Sam's fists were clenched, and the fire in his eyes mirrored hers. They were like sunflowers moving toward the light, bold in their resolve. Derek's advance faltered as he turned to face the group. He was losing steam, and they could all see it. You really think you can take me down? He yelled, but his confidence was cracking. Yes, we do. Sam shouted back, voice unwavering, his stance solid. It rippled through their ranks, muting the self-doubt that had once held them back. Maya stepped up, heart racing, pacing the space in front of the gym like a general leading her troops. Listen, Derek. This isn't just about you and me. This is about every kid you've made feel worthless. We won't let that happen anymore. The words echoed in the silence that descended. There was bravery in her heart and power in her voice as she turned to her team. Are we going to let him dictate how we feel? Are we going to remain silent any longer? No, they shouted in chorus. With renewed strength, Maya grabbed Tanya's hand and called out, "Let us show him." Together they moved as one, weaving intricate forms that flowed from one martial arts technique to another, displaying their training and newfound confidence. The energy was contagious, and students from all corners of the gym began to cheer, clapping and chanting as they unified behind their mission. In that moment, Derek stumbled, stunned by the sheer force of the unexpected community forming around him. He gritted his teeth and charged again, but it only fueled their resolve. Maya ducked and twisted with grace she had practiced tirelessly, countering his angry swings as her friends joined in the choreography of solidarity. Each block and counter became a powerful reminder of their collective strength, a mosaic of friendship and resilience. Among the chorus of voices she caught sight of Sam. Together they were forming a protective wall, an arc of defiance stretching between them and Derek. "We've got this," he shouted, his eyes flickering with confidence. With a quick sidestep she turned, her foot landing firmly next to Sam's, creating a solid foundation. "And we're not stopping," she added, the resolve throbbing in her chest. Derek paused, processing what had suddenly become a united front. And from the corner of her eye Maya saw something shift. Fear and uncertainty flickered across Derek's face. This was the moment. Charging forward in a flurry of energy, she executed a swift move she had practiced with her grandfather, an almost dance-like maneuver that mirrored empowerment. She could feel everyone's heartbeats in sync with hers, a symphony of hope rising into the air. Derek reeled as she deflected his swing, stumbling back again. The wind knocked from his sails. Laughter erupted from the crowd, their spirits lifting. "You think you can beat us alone?" Maya taunted gently, deliberately shying away from aggression. "Together we're stronger than you ever thought we could be." As she took her stance, she felt the warmth of her community embrace her. An interwoven fabric of comrades bound by choice, standing tall against a single bully. This wasn't just a fight, it was a declaration. The sound of hope ignited through the gym, rippling outward like wildfire. With each passing moment, Maya understood what they were creating together. They were building a new story, one where they all belonged, unafraid of judgment, standing shoulder to shoulder. Maya felt a lightness in her heart. There was power in their resolve, in the words that embodied change. "Are we ready to stand together?" "Yes." The response was deafening. "Then let us show him what community looks like." And with that they surged forward, a wave against the storm that Derek represented, unified and unbreakable. The cheers thundered as Maya led her classmates, eyes ablaze with purpose, and for the first time, the weight in her chest lightened. Derek, now faced with a united front, faltered under the weight of the collective spirit before him. And just like that, the course of the fight shifted. This was their battle no longer confined to a mere confrontation, but blossoming into a thriving environment of self-worth and empathy. "Let us take a stand for every kid who feels unheard," Maya commanded, voice transcending the chaos. "They voiced their strength through us." As Derek's bravado began to crumble to shatter like glass, she could feel the world around her brimming with belief and solidarity. Each thud of feet against the gym floor became an anthem. Every hit became an act of courage, together transforming fear into fierce empowerment. This was at the moment they ignited change. And as they pushed forward, determined and joyous, Maya knew they would rise as one, casting aside the shadows that held them back. The battle was far from over, and yet, something new had emerged, a promise that they would stand together against whatever darkness lay ahead. This was only the beginning, a new dawn breaking in the hearts of each student united against the tide. And whether Derek chose to change or rebel further would no longer matter. They had redefined their story and built a bond that could never be broken. As Derek finally yielded, retreating into the shadows of his own discontent, the crowd roared once more. A message rippled through the air, their voices transformed, their strength magnified. Together they had learned the power of community, and it was only the first chapter in a new story that awaited them, all so much more yet to come. And as the cheers erupted like fireworks, Maya felt a surge of joy flood her soul. The journey was made not just for herself, but for everyone who had ever felt alone. They were ready to create a better future together. And that was where hope began. If you thought this ending was inspiring, you need to subscribe now for more exclusive stories. Don't miss out, hit that bell and mark all notifications right away. Leave a like to feed the algorithm and let us know how you felt about this journey. Comment below with your thoughts. What have you learned from Maya's story? Lastly, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear about this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second, make your impact today.